With the Calgary real estate market changing so much lately, no wonder it's starting to feel like, can anyone afford a home? Since 2020, we've had the average rent go up by 40%. We've seen vacancy rates cut in half down to 3%, and the average price of a detached house has gone up by 37%. So, who's still buying homes? Let's go find out. I mean, we have some real housing market challenges here. There's a lot of younger people and a lot of families that are trying to purchase a property, but they can't actually afford what they were hoping to get into. And with that, the increase in the median income has not kept pace with the increase in what housing is doing, the cost of it. Between 1991 and 2001, the median home price held strong at about 3 times that of the incomes at the time. And now we're much closer to 5 times the home price to what our income is. Well, and at the end of the day, with costs continuing to rise, what does that do for our everyday life? As of August 2023, gasoline prices have increased by 0.8% year over year, making this the first yearly increase since January 2023. I mean, we're paying more interest on our rents because they have mortgages, right? So we're paying more interest on rents as well as mortgages. And food, I mean, those prices have increased by 6.8% compared to August last year. I mean, vegetables up 9%, dairy products up 6.5%, bakery 6%, meat 5%, and fruit 2%. I mean, all of these things are increasing. And another challenge that we have in our market is unemployment. And all ages are not created equal here. So those between the ages of 15 to 24 in August of 2023 had an unemployment rate of 12.1% in Alberta. And those between the ages of 25 to 54 had a 4.7% unemployment rate, a lot lower. But then 1 month later in September, those between 25 to 54, it actually decreased to 4.3, which is great. But those that are younger, under the age of 24, theirs increased to 13.5%. So more of our future home buyers are having a harder time finding employment. So based on the City of Calgary's definition of affordable housing means spending less than 30% on a household income before tax on housing. So what this means is in this market today, it would take about $84,000 for the individual to adequately afford average market rent, and $156,000 for the household to afford the median cost of a detached home. However, if the median household income from August 2023 in Calgary is $98,000, you do the math the other way, that means the average household should be only able to afford $382,000 in their purchase price. And if there's condo fees or if there's any debts at all for these people, that number would go down. Now, over the last 90 days, there was 7,577 homes that sold here in Calgary. And if we're going to have this limit of $382,000, that would mean 66.5% of all the homes that sold were not adequately affordable for the average household of $98,000 if that was their average household income. So this means a couple of things. The first one is people right now, buyers, they're getting a huge help with their down payment. Perhaps there's a lot of co-signers coming out, or people have a lot of cash. The last thing is, there could be a chance that chartered banks are bending the rules deeply, which is really, really concerning if we have higher unaffordability and unemployment in the future. For example, if you're going to buy an apartment right now, the median apartment price is right around $275,000. You would need an annual household income of $70,800 to do that. Now, for a townhouse, a row house, that's $385,000, and the income needed for your household is $99,160. Now, what about the semi-detached? It jumps in price up to $540,000 for the city, and you need $130,600 to adequately afford that type of purchase price. And the almighty detached property, well, That price point is $645,000 right now, and you're going to need an annual household income of $156,000 to adequately afford that detached home. So with all of these issues, why are prices still going up? And a big part of that has to do with a few things. The first one is the aging demographic. Have you noticed how more older individuals are staying in their houses longer? I mean, Canada's home healthcare market is around a $28 billion industry in 2022. And by 2030, it's projected to be a $53 billion market in Canada. I mean, that alone is massive. It's huge. So older individuals are staying in their homes longer, which families, we're middle-aged like myself with kids, we don't have opportunities to get into those properties because they're living in them longer. And the second thing is rental demand. So there's more rents being asked. I mean, I'm literally talking to our lady here shooting, Molly. She was looking at a condo in this building, a 1-bedroom, 400 square feet for $2,000. Now, if we were here years ago, they would never get that type of money. So that is keeping landlords in the home ownership game and keeping them because now they're finally getting some income for their properties. And the last thing is people are wanting to not sell their properties because of the higher interest rates they're going to have when they have to get that new mortgage. So on the other hand, there are three main groups that are still buying a lot of properties here in Calgary. The first one is cash buyers who are downsizing. There's a lot of individuals who have made a lot of equity here in Calgary and they're making that change. The next one is people who are moving from international, from other provinces, and they're making a big change when it's coming to finding more affordability. I mean, this has been on our radar for a long time. The other one is investors. Now, according to some data that was released recently by the Bank of Canada, investors were responsible for 30% of home purchases in the first 3 months of this year in Canada, which is up from 28% from the first quarter last year and 22% the first quarter in 2020. So, to note all of this, we still have high sales. We have record number of sales happening every month for the last 4 months. So what do you do with this? There are several creative ways that home buyers in Calgary are using to afford a home. The first one is your proximity. Go to the outskirts. Could be some fantastic opportunities if you head out to Okotoks, Cochrane, Chestermere, Airdrie, even further to High River and places like that. You might be able to find some great deals when it comes to some properties out there. Next, maybe you want to rent out part of your home. So if you end up buying a single family home, stretch yourself if you can and rent out the basement. That might just cover 70, 80, 90% of what it's costing to have that property. The other one is utilizing government programs. For example, if you do a combination of incentive programs, tax breaks, and some careful planning, that can help you afford a property and work with mortgage brokers to figure that out. Another one is co-ownership. Maybe get your family member, like a parent, who can actually help with your down payment, and then they're not living in the property. It's kind of a gifted down payment, but that might be a way to afford a property right now. And lastly is longer amortization. I can almost guarantee that we're going to see 40-year amortizations come in play or something like it to help individuals and buyers afford a property. Now, another final way is basement suites. If you buy a property and it doesn't have a basement suite or a garage suite, there is incentives that are coming down the line that might work for you, and you can hear about them all in this video.